Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another manga haul video. Today I am going over all the manga and some other books that I bought in this month of July. Now, technically speaking, I do have stuff that I bought in June, but I bought it either digitally or like online, and I didn't get it until July, or I bought it right after I put up my my manga haul for June. So technically it is in the month of July, or it has been a month since I bought it, so we'll cover it today. Okay, so let's start with the last things I bought in June, which were three different books. I got them during the sale that was going on in Books A Million, and that was Failure Frame Volume 1. Beautiful looking cover. I don't know anything about this series. I bought it basically because I really like this princess elf warrior chick on the cover. And I also really enjoy this small light novel size. It's very good. I really like this size, but it's not exactly like a thing that Seven Seas publishes all of their light novels in, so it's kind of weird. I don't really know how they decide which airship title is a large print and which one is a small print, but it doesn't really matter. I liked it. I wanted to pick this up for a while, and I finally did. I haven't read it yet, but I am going to rather soon. After that, I picked up Gundam Thunderbolts, which is very nice. I haven't done my first impressions review on it because I'm waiting to read something else that also includes robots in order to do this review for that. But I probably won't do that until September, so it's gonna be a while before I get around to it, right? So yeah, not much to say here. I think it's very interesting. The mechanical design is amazing. The art is also pretty nice. I like it. And it has this kind of like World War kind of vibe to it, but in space. It's very interesting. It doesn't really have anything to do with the other Gundam series. But it is kind of odd to read if you don't have a general understanding of Gundam, or at least know how like Gundam is generally organized, in the sense that it's Zeon versus the humans, the Human Confederation or the Earth Confederation, whatever they're called. And that there's essentially this kind of like separatist civil war type of conflict going on between the two forces, and it requires giant robots to do it. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I liked it. I wasn't really sure about the story, really, but I think it's a very cool thing to buy, so I bought it. And the last thing I bought was Solo Leveling Volume 2, and I really liked it. I already read it. I thought it was very good. I really did enjoy it, and I don't really want to say too much about it, but it's very, very good. It's a very nice continuation from the first one, and it's also quite a bit better than the first one, and I can't wait to read Volume 3 once it comes out. And I think Volume 3 is going to have like a very light purple cover, which is going to be pretty nice. The first one was brown, and this one is this kind of red-ish shade. Maybe burgundy is the right name for this. I'm not really sure, but I like it a lot. Okay, that was the first three things I bought. These were all the things I bought in the sale that Books A Million had. I bought them all because each of them was $15, and that is the best way to use your money when it comes to those types of sales. Because if you buy like two really expensive things and get the third one free that is really cheap, you basically lost a little bit of money because everything costs more. Usually the best strategy for that type of sale is to buy three things that cost the same amount of money to get the most savings out of it, right? So yeah, then I got my June Mexican manga haul, which I kind of have to move things around for, so let me do that really quickly. And then I'll bring them all over here so you guys can see them. I already did an in-depth haul video for everything that I bought in Mexico, so you guys can go watch it right there or up there, wherever the card is, if you want to. But I'm only going to show you the covers and kind of generally tell you why I bought the things that I bought in Mexico. So, let's see. Okay, I think this is it. So, let's get started. The first thing I bought was Saint Seiya Volume 1. Bought this, one, because this is a very nice edition, and two, because Saint Seiya is impossible to find here in the US, and I really like Saint Seiya, or at least I really like the anime for Saint Seiya, and so I want to read the manga, and obviously it's very old school art style and actually kind of looks more like Go Nagai than it does anything else in Shonen Jump at the time or since. But it's a very kind of iconic style. And I don't know, I really like Saint Seiya, and I really wanted to own Saint Seiya, but the only Saint Seiya book I have here in the US version is volume 23, and it was super hard to find, and I only got it so cheap because it's kind of really damaged. So this is the way to go. Also, these are only like 140 pesos, which translated to US is about $7. So $7 for a collector's edition that's based on the Japanese Kanzenban that has a bunch of color pages, a bookmark, and a cover, like a dust jacket. It's like a no-brainer. I just thought it was a very good deal, so I picked up volume 1 and volume 2. I have 20 other volumes to pick up, since they reshuffled all the chapters to fit into 22 volumes instead of the normal 29, if I remember correctly. Then I got the whole collection of Bestiarius. Now, Bestiarius is by this guy called Masasumi Kagisaki, who does shonen manga mostly. And I got it because this guy's art style is amazing. It's killer. It's so good. There you go. Very, very nice. It kind of has this kind of vibe between Vinland Saga and Berserk. But the story is actually about these gladiator people that fight against mythical beasts in the early days of the Roman Empire, which is very interesting. I really like it. I thought it was very, very cool. So I got Bestiarius Volume 1, Bestiarius Volume 2, Bestiarius Volume 3, 4, which I think is a really nice cover. And it has this art that goes all the way to the back, so it's very nice. Volume 5, Volume 6, and finally Volume 7. Now, I don't know too much about it either beyond what I just said, but I did read the first chapter and it was very nice. It was actually really easy to read. I was kind of worried that this would be hard to read because the way Spanish is spoken is a little bit different from how it's written. Not like super different, but rather the fact that writing and reading is such a kind of like high class kind of thing in Mexico makes it kind of normal to not write so that everyone can understand it. But I mean, given the fact that this is translated from a different language, allows kind of those rules to go out the window, and it makes it very easy to read this stuff, right? So I'm pretty happy with the reading experience that I'm having so far, and it's very nice. I really like it. If I really like this series, I'll probably try to import the other things that he has, which are not available in Mexico. I'd have to buy them from Spain, but it would be pretty nice. There's Green Blood, and there's this thing called Rainbow. And then he has a few short story collections that I'm really interested in. Next, I got 2 volumes of Origin by Boichi. This is about a robot that hunts other robots due to the fact that they're kind of like running rampant in this kind of post-globalization Japan kind of thing. It's very cool. Then I got Yagan volumes 1 and 2. Now, I did want to buy more of Origin and more of Yagan, but I couldn't find Volume 3. For either series, it seems like it was kind of severely out of print because Mexico is going over the same kind of problems that we are here in the US with these kind of difficulties that arise from a lack of paper and from printing companies not being able to work as much and have as many books printed as usual because of COVID. So, yeah. Now, Yagan is a very kind of similar story to Gantz, but it's kind of different. This one deals more with depression, not necessarily with this kind of apathy for life, like in Gantz. And it kind of is interesting. I read the first chapter. I thought it was very good. I really did enjoy it. And I can't wait to read more of it, right? So, yeah, that's the first 2 things. Those are all the things that I got in June that I was only able to grab in July. So, there we go. Next, I went to Mexico and I bought more manga in Mexico. I went to this store called Usagi Tokame, and I went to a Panini store. Panini is the company that sells these manga. And I also went to this place called Sanborn's, which is kind of a department store. I didn't find anything there, but I also went to Liverpool, which is another type of department store, which is odd because it's named like a place in England, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. And I bought some manga there, so I'll show you everything I got. The first thing I got was this three pack thing of Adam, the Beginning, which is a retelling slash prequel to Astro Boy, which is very cool. It's originally by Osamu Tezuka. The work was conceptualized by this guy called Masami Yuki. The illustrations are done by Tetsuro Kazuhara, and the editor here was Makoto Tezuka, which is Osamu Tezuka's son. And of course, this is a Tezuka Productions series. And Mexico has this thing, or Panini Manga specifically has this thing, where they sell packs of manga, like the first 3 volumes of a manga, in this kind of like 3 for 2 kind of deal, or almost 3 for 2. So I bought this because it was kind of like the new item that was going out right now. So yeah, Adam, volume 1, 2, and 3, but obviously you can't see 2 and 3. And I don't want to take it out because this belt is very difficult to finagle once you get them out. So it's kind of difficult to do that. But yeah, next I went to a Panini store that I actually found by accident, and I got Lone Wolf and Cub Volume 1. This is kind of the same edition that we have in English in the original Dark Horse version, but this is slightly bigger, and obviously it's in Spanish. It has a dust jacket and a bookmark, because that's a thing that Panini Manga does. They give bookmarks out on the first volumes of a lot of their series, or eventually they do it in some volume, but usually up from 2017 onwards, I think they've been doing it in the first volume of each series that they publish. So yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub seems pretty interesting. I don't know too much about it, besides the fact that it's a very kind of important series to modern storytelling, obviously in manga, but obviously in kind of the Western science fiction fantasy type of style. Like The Mandalorian is kind of similar to Lone Wolf and Cub in that sense. And there's a few other things that are pretty similar as well. So yeah, there you go, Lone Wolf and Cub Volume 1. Then I got a different edition of Blade of the Immortal. I do have the English one, but I am going to sell it really soon because I got these, which are closer to the Japanese editions that are currently out right now, which I think is a wideband. And these are 2-in-1s instead of 3-in-1s, but I don't really mind. These are definitely smaller than the large Blade of the Immortal paperbacks that we have here in the US, but I'm okay with it because this is not flipped. This is the right way around. Obviously, it also has a dust jacket, and sadly, this one is pre-bookmark, so it doesn't come with one. But, I mean, it's not that big a deal. So, yeah. Then I got Volume 2, which is up to Volume 4 of the original release. Which is pretty nice. I really like this cover. I think it's very good. And I also really like the green that they use for it. So yeah. Then I went to this place called Usagi Tokame, which is the first place I mentioned. And it was in the center of Monterey. And I picked up Volume 1 of Yu Yu Hakusho in this Kanzenban edition, which is the same type of edition as the one I got for Saint Seiya. And this one I think is definitely worth showing off. Basically, that's the coolest part of it. It has this nice black background with green and silver. Has its bookmark, and of course it has color pages and a bunch of different stuff. This one is a little bit more expensive than the Saint Seiya one. This is 200 pesos, which is only about $10. So for the same price as you get a volume here in the US of regular manga from Viz, you get these nice big editions from the Mexican manga publisher Panini, and this one has more than a volume because it's one of those editions where they reshuffle chapters in order to make the edition shorter. But yeah, and then the last thing I got was this series called Go Death. I got volumes 1, 2, and 3, and I don't know too much about Go Death, except that I really like the art, and it's basically about vampires that work under the church or something along those lines. And I mostly got it because I really like the art. I think the characters are very pretty looking, and I thought it was very cool. I'm not the most fan of vampires, the biggest fan of vampires, I'm sorry, but I really enjoy them conceptually, so I thought it was okay. So I'm gonna read this soon, but not yet. Maybe probably during October. Maybe I'll do some sort of vampire manga thing. I'll buy the rest of Hellsing and stuff like that. But I'm not really sure. So that's the last thing I got in Mexico. And hopefully you guys haven't clicked away from this video, since I'm basically showing you stuff that I already mentioned before. Okay, yeah, and then the next thing I got was Space Mercenary, the light novel. Now, this is the first light novel that I can think of that is properly science fiction, that is also an isekai, which is pretty cool. I think the only other one that I had that was kind of like sci-fi was Division Maneuver, which is not actually sci-fi. It's kind of like magic based, but not really. And that one isn't really an isekai. It's more of a reincarnation. Like, the character dies and immediately wakes up in the same world in a different body. So it's not exactly an isekai kind of situation, but this one is. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't really know too much about it, but I like the art style. I like the concept, and I'm hopeful that this is going to be a very good series. So yeah, and then I got Monster Volume 2 finally. Here we go. It has taken me a long time to find this. I was mostly buying it on Amazon because I never can find volumes of this on Books A Million, or in Books A Million, or Barnes & Nobles, or Kinokuniya, which are the other stores that I go to regularly. So when I found it on Amazon, even though it was kind of expensive, I was like, okay, I'll buy it. No worries. It's brand new. There's really nothing to it. It's very normal kind of purchase, but I'm very happy about it because Monster is one of the series that I've been wanting to collect and finish collecting most of this year, and I haven't been able to do that because I couldn't buy it on Amazon. So there you go. Then I got Ragna Crimson. I bought these, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 3 comes out relatively soon, and this is by Square Enix. And I bought these from Mike over at Otaku Mike, his channel, and I'll leave it in the description or put it up there in the card somewhere. He was selling them because he didn't really like that it was very exposition heavy in Volume 2, and I can kind of see it because I flipped through one of these pages and I saw like a giant wall of text, and I just didn't find that to be very good, but hopefully it ends up being good. I heard from a few people that the story is actually very enjoyable and the art is very good, even though it's kind of like very basic. It is still kind of cool, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope it is, and I hope I enjoy it. But if not, I mean, I can just resell it. It's no big deal. So yeah, then I got a bunch of digital manga. I actually took advantage of the Kodansha sale that was going on and bought Nagatoro Volumes 1, 2, and 3, which was only $5. Tokyo Revengers 1, 2, and 3, which I mostly got because my cousin was really hyping it up for me when I went to visit him when I was in Mexico, right? So he's telling me it was really good. He's not really kind of a big fan of anime. He just watches it because his classmates do. He's a bit younger than me. He's like 14. He's like 16 and I'm 22. So he's a little bit younger than me, and he's not really a big fan of anime. He's mostly a video game kind of guy. But he was watching it because his classmates watched it, and he told me it was really, really good, and that I should really check it out. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so I bought the first 3 volumes, which again was only $5 because of that sale. And I got volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Sweat and Soap. Then I also got volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Devil's Line, which I only got because it was so cheap. If I had to actually buy volumes of that, I would have never done so because I'm not necessarily sure that the premise is that good, but I started reading a bit of it and I thought it was okay. So hopefully it's good. And then I picked up Space Brothers 1, 2, and 3 because that man in his manga kind of hypes this series up a bit, or at least he talks about it relatively often, and I was curious about what it was about, so there we go. Hopefully it's good. Again, that was only about $5, so that's pretty good. I'm really happy with all of those purchases, and thank you, Kodansha, for doing that. But I mean, digital books should not be about the same as a physical volume anyways, so sales are the only good way, or the only good reason to buy digital books when they cost about the same as a physical volume. So yeah, but yeah, the next thing I got was Parasite Volume 1, which I only got because it was $5. I got it used. This is a Loot Crate edition, as you guys can see right there. And yeah, I don't really know too much about it, but it was conceptualized as basically this Japanese version of Venom with this kind of a slightly different plot line about this alien invasion. And I thought that sounded pretty cool, so there we go. I also bought the first volume digitally from the Kodansha sale on Bookwalker, which means I got it for free, basically. You guys can too. I think the sale goes on until August 2nd, which is pretty cool. And yeah, then I got the light novel Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling, which is the newest light novel that has been released by Seven Seas under the Airship title. And as you guys can see, this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't know how they decide which one is large and which one's small, because these two came out like almost on the same in the same month from the same publisher and within the same week. So I don't know how they decided this one is a large trim size and this one's a small print size. I'm guessing it has to do with the company that they bought it from, but I'm not too sure. Either way, I like both types. I think I do like the small one just because it's easier to store, but either way, I'm fine with it. But yeah, Dragon Hatchling, don't know anything about it except that it's one of those reincarnated as an animal. Now I have to level up and along the way meet some people and develop my powers kind of thing, right? So hopefully it's good. Then I bought two normal books. I got Carl Sagan's The Dragon of Eden, which I only got because it's from Carl Sagan. I don't really know too much about him, but my dad always mentions him because my dad really likes space, and Carl Sagan had this old show called Cosmos where he talks about space and natural history and stuff like that, and my dad really likes it, and he mentions it quite often in our conversations. So I picked it up and I was like, okay, whatever. It's a book on the speculation of the evolution of human intelligence, which is a very interesting concept. So there we go. Hopefully it's good. I also bought it at Half Price Books, so it was only about $2. Then I got Naomi Novik's Tongues of Serpents, which is part of the Temeraire light novels, or Temeraire light novels. They're fucking light novels, no novels, just normal books. Each of them is about 200 and something pages, about 300 pages. And it's basically, it's book 6 in that series. And the series is basically about what would happen if the Napoleonic Wars were fought with dragons, and what happens in a world where dragons exist and they're smart. And it kind of is this way to talk about slavery and these kind of ideas of like, are you able to own something that can think for itself and kind of stuff like that, but also to explore this kind of, what's it called, time period in a way that isn't so focused on just dudes fighting each other, right? So it's kind of interesting. I thought it was very cool. Hopefully it's good. I really like the first 5 volumes of the series, or the first 5 books in the series. That was good so far. But it's not very action heavy. Like, don't go into it thinking that you're just going to see a bunch of wars and fights and stuff. I mean, you will, but like, that's not really the main focus. Like, it's about the relationship between the dragon Temeraire and his writer, Mr. Will Lawrence. And it's also about the kind of state of the world at that time, and about this idea of slavery and how can you lay claim to something that can think for itself and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I do like it a lot. And the last thing I got was the New 52 Batman Volume 1, The Court of the Owls, which is a very good book. I read this originally when I was like in 7th or 8th grade. One of my buddies, who was the one I went to visit in Mexico actually, that took me to buy those manga, lent me a long time ago when I was quite a young kid, and I really liked it. I think that was my first introduction to Batman beyond the movies and the TV shows. Like, this is the first time I actually read a Batman story. I sort of just consumed it other ways, like visually mostly. And I really liked it, and I actually really liked the New 52. I know that a lot of people don't really like it, but most of my experience with DC Comics has been the New 52, and I've actually enjoyed everything I've read in the New 52, so I'm going to continue to collect volumes of different series that I'm interested in the New 52, because the Rebirth one that I read for Wonder Woman wasn't really that good compared to the 52 ones, so who knows. But yeah, I definitely want to get more of Batman. I really liked it. I think I read all of the Court of Owls kind of situations that happened. I think I read all of Scott Snyder's run of Batman in the New 52, but I'm not really sure. I can't remember. But yeah, that's everything I got for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And of course, let me know what you guys bought this month. And let me know what you think about the Mexican manga that I got. Is it kind of interesting? Do you guys think it's boring? Do you guys not really care? I mean, I personally think that the editions are very nice, and that the kind of way in which they manage a manga company is quite different from the way we do here in the US. And I actually quite like that a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like. And yeah, see you guys later.